What's up? It's Billy Briz, joined by my main man, DFS by the numbers. Brady, how you feeling today?
Feeling pretty good, man. How about you?
I'm feeling pretty good. Shouts to the man that we had on last week as a guest, Al Hector, aka Parlay Posa, over on Twitter. Bing, $250,000 fucking dollars last night. Shouts to Al Hector. Had him on the show last week. Great vibes always in the Discord. But let's get straight into this week. Let's go over the injury report. McLaurin is expected to play, did not practice Friday as precaution. Josh Jacobs, Peyton Barber will both play on Sunday. Kadarius Toney, the darling from last week, questionable, but is listed more likely to play this week. Lamar Jackson practices in full today, good to go against the Chargers. Darius Slayton, hamstring, is questionable to return for week 6. Daniel Jones, concussion, is cleared for week 6. Sterling Shepard, hamstring, is cleared to return. Chase Claypool, absent from the injury report today. Damian Harris, ribs, questionable for Sunday. Mike Williams, knee, did not practice all week, questionable for Sunday. Melvin Gordon, hip, questionable to play, but is expected to come back this week. And Mixon is expected to play and handle a full workload this weekend. So that is the injury news report. A couple of them we'll talk about as we go through. But Brady, what is the stack that caught your eye the most for this week?
I think you missed a big one in the injury report, man. Nick Chubb got rolled out.
I said we're gonna get into that as we got into the
Oh,
games. I didn't
you were,
want to give it away. I didn't want
oh,
to,
you're saving it. My bad. So what was your question?
top stack of the week, yeah. But Nick Chubb is out for this week. Grave odds ownership is just gonna go through the roof, and I'll be a part of that ownership.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, my favorite stack. There's two that I really like. I think the most exposure to one I have is going to be the Kansas City stack here. It's a 55-point total, highest on the entire slate by a significant margin. And like I said earlier in the week, they made a big mistake pricing down Travis Kelce to only 7K. Makes it really easy to stack up Mahomes, Hill, and Kelce. Hill is questionable. If Hill does play, I do like him. If he does not play, that's going to open up Mecole Hardman, who is, I think, 4,200. So yeah, don't mind triple stacking, double stacking here in this game. I also like Williams as well on the Chiefs side, just based on the fact that he's very cheap, 4,900 in a game they're projected to be ahead, in a game that's projected to be the highest scoring game. So I really like the Chiefs side. And then also you have great run back options with Terry McLaurin and then some other guys we'll talk about. Washington's missing a ton of receivers. Curtis Samuel's gone this week. Cam Sims is out this week as well. So it's going to open up some things for guys like Humphreys, who is 3,400, and then also Carter, who's 3,000. Carter is somebody that got 8 targets last week, and I expect that to continue since they basically don't have anybody to throw to. And then also Ricky Seals-Jones, loving him at 3K, going right back to him. I've also had some lineups this week with, don't usually do this, but double tight ends with Travis Kelce and Seals-Jones in that flex spot. Makes it pretty easy to go up and get these Mahomes and Hills and Adams and guys like that. So, yeah, liking the Chiefs game a lot.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with you, Brady. I feel like the one thing that's been real hard with DraftKings this year has been trying to find value on the slates, but I think there is a lot of good value on this game, particularly with the bye weeks coming along for the first time this year. It kind of really condensed the slate, and I think regardless if Tyreek Hill plays or not, I'm playing Mecole Hardman definitely in my lineups. I definitely like him at $5,500 from 4-3 on DK. I even like the double run back option of this game. We talked about Nick Chubb being out for this game, so I love me some Kareem Hunt in this game. But I also think a sleeper guy in this game to stack about is Odell Beckham Jr., man. Everybody's down on Odell this year, man. I might go back to the well with Odell Beckham Jr., but I know one person in particular had a pretty sharp call last week on the tight end situation, and I think that might come through partition in a couple of the other games, and I think that's the game that I'm going to talk about next. Is this Arizona versus Cleveland Browns game? I think this is the sneaky game to really get the stack. I just talked about the Kareem Hunt run back with Kyler Murray and stuff like that. I'm really honing in on like 4 or 5 teams and really try to get a part of that. But I think El Hector is ready to go. So we're gonna bring on El Hector. Parlay Posa, how you feeling?
There he is. He's muted, but there he is.
You're muted though.
You're on mute.
You're
Mute.
on mute.
Parlay Posa is retired. It's now Capo capping.
Shout outs to El Hector. Hector, how are you feeling coming off a $250,000 winning? My man went for talking about being bored and taking a nap for the slate and ended the night by looking at Teslas. That's what you call a true American dream.
Let's not discount that OJ Howard first touchdown either, sir.
Yeah, you made a lot of money last night. How does it feel, man? Does it feel unreal? Does it feel real as a day?
It feels great, but you know what? That was yesterday. I'm ready to hit the battlefield today.
El Hector, what are your thoughts on this Arizona versus Cleveland Brown situation? I know you had investment into the tight end situation last week between Austin Hooper and David Njoku, and it ended up being David Njoku. Do you have a lean on the tight end this week?
Yeah, that was crazy. I wanted to attack the tight end position, and it was Njoku, man. He went off. He had over 100 receiving yards. That was crazy. But in this game in particular, I'm definitely more interested in the Kyler Murray and a receiver stack. The Browns have a great run defense. What the hell does that matter to Kyler Murray? He's going to be out there slinging the ball just like Herbert did. He had no problem last week. I haven't really looked into this week that much, not gonna lie, but I'm pretty sure you can attack the Browns on the deep ball.
Yeah, I could definitely see that coming through. I definitely think Kyler Murray may go overlooked this week, considering I feel like a lot of the ownership is really going to Mahomes and Lamar Jackson this week. Brady,
I'm all over this week. And
Mahomes?
Murray, and also you get the rushing yard bonus.
Yeah, I think he could definitely be one of the guys on this slate that could hit the 100-yard rushing bonus, him and Lamar. Brady, what are your sentiments on this Arizona and Cleveland game? We kind of mushed together that game in the Kansas City-Washington game.
Yeah, so I like what you said about the Murray stack and running it back with Hunt. Now that Chubb's out, I think it's just like a smash spot for Kareem Hunt. He's only 6,200. Typically, even with Chubb playing, like Hunt has been phenomenal this year, averaging 18.7 DraftKings points. So it's gonna be very hard for me to get away from Hunt. So yeah, I do like that call you had, stacking up Arizona, running it back with Hunt there. I guess my problem is, like, you take a look at the stacking options. You have Hopkins, you have Kirk, you have AJ Green, you have Randall Moore. I mean, which one of those do you prefer? For me, I lean towards Hopkins or Moore, who is 4,600. Is there anybody you prefer?
It's you kind of have to do the Murray Hopkins stack. Like, you kind of have to. Because if you don't, and he's the one that goes off, you're like, fuck, that was so fucking obvious. You know what I mean? But you can attack the Browns on the deep ball. They've on deep passing yards allowed. They've given up They've given up 362 yards to the deep ball this year with a 42.9% completion rate. So look at Mike Williams last week, man. I said that in last week's chat. Huge bounce back week. He ate on through the air. It's going to be you just got to figure out who it's going to be. And Hopkins is an obvious answer. Could it be Christian Kirk? Could it be Rondale Moore? I'm probably not gonna. I'm not too familiar with how AJ Green's been doing this week, but this is something that you're gonna have to do a couple lineups with.
I think you go with DeAndre Hopkins because one of the things I was looking at on this week is that it's the first week for bye weeks. So there's only 9 games on the main slate, and there's only 3 4:00 games. So I think the ownership of DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray as a stack won't be as high owned as it usually is on other weeks, just because there's only 3 afternoon games. I don't think a lot of the ownership is really going to go to the afternoon games like that. So I think that's the reason why that game might just go under-owned just in general because the 1 o'clock games are so chalky this week. One of those 1 o'clock games being the Los Angeles Chargers taking a trip to the Baltimore Ravens. The cover boy of this video is going to be Lamar Jackson for this week. Brady, what are your sentiments on this Chargers and Ravens game? On the injury news reports that we talked about was Mike Williams, man, did not practice all week this week. Is it Keenan Allen chalk week?
Dude, if Mike Williams is out, Keenan Allen's going to be in pretty much every single one of my lineups because I already like Keenan Allen regardless. Keenan Allen's somebody that you can always count on for a good, 10 plus targets, a good, 7, 8, 9 receptions a week. Even last week, 9 targets, 11 targets in week 4, 12 in week 3. He's getting a ton of targets, and he might not have the same amount of upside as a Mike Williams, but he really doesn't need to at this price tag. He's a lot cheaper than Mike Williams. So even with Mike Williams, if he does play, I still like Keenan Allen, but with Mike Williams out, like that's going to make Keenan Allen probably one of the best plays on the slate in terms of wide receiver.
Yeah, this is the reason why I'm only playing GPPs this week, because it feels so easy to put Lamar Jackson at the quarterback, run it with Hollywood and Mark Andrews since they have such a consolidated target market share. And then with the double run back being Austin Eckler against that Baltimore defense with Keenan Allen. I think that's the nut stack right there to start off the GPP lineup. And then you fill in with the one-offs from there. I really think that's going to come in pretty chalky. Hector, is there anything that you're really looking at to hit this game with?
Yes, sir. One of my favorite plays from that game in particular is Austin Eckler. The only problem with that playing Eckler is that the Chargers love to pass. They love to pass. But we saw what Eckler could do on the ground last week, or the week before. He ate on the ground. And the Baltimore defense looks scary. They look intimidating, but they are giving up 4.28 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns on the ground, and 3.04 yards after contact. So you can attack them on the ground. I'm 100% interested in Eckler this week.
I think Eckler is going to be a name that might go overlooked this week because if you look at that 6K range on DraftKings and 7K range on FanDuel, you got Jonathan Taylor there. The Colts are playing the Texans. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to be chalky. I think Kareem Hunt's going to be chalky with the Nick Chubb news. And I think Darrell Henderson is in a superb matchup. And then I think the guys are going to really go overlooked in that mid-range is going to be like Austin Eckler. I don't think people are going to want to pay up for Austin Eckler and Dalvin Cook or Joe Mixon or Chuba Hubbard this week. So I think that could be an interesting way to go about this week. But one dude that I was really looking at in this game, we're talking about him on Monday Night Football. We're pretty excited for his debut. But Sammy Watkins having hamstring injury on the Monday Night Football game. Rookie sensation, preseason sensation, I should say. In other words, Rashad Bateman is going to make his debut this week. He's a flat main on DK this week. I think Rashad Bateman could be a sneaky number 2 target in this offense with Sammy Watkins being hurt. We know what Hollywood has been doing, and Mark Andrews came back from a death coffin last week. Don't tell Big Show that. But on other words, though, Rashad Bateman, man, could definitely be a low-owned option to make a chalky stack work in this game. Is there anything else you guys are looking at in this game?
No, you took Bateman for sure. 3K, especially with Watkins out. Like even if Watkins was playing, I'd have some interest at 3K, right? He might be limited. I'm not sure. I haven't heard any news if he's going to be limited or not. But even then, like 3K, no Watkins, you don't need a ton, and it gets you exposure to this game. So yeah, sign me up for some Bateman.
Yeah, one other game that was pretty interesting was the Green Bay and Chicago game. The Green Bay and Chicago game is a game of injury news that you need to follow for this weekend. Darrell Williams, not Henderson, but Darrell Henderson is a good play for the LA Rams this week. But it's the week of the Darrells, man. We got Darrell Williams, Kansas City Chiefs running back, way too cheap this week. And then we also had Darrell Williams, one dude that we talked about last Friday that won't be coming back this week. He landed on the COVID IR, and there is a guy, a special guy out there that me and Sharpie were paying attention to in the Discord when we were watching the game because we had the Damian Williams props out the ass last week, and this dude named Khalil Herbert was actually the one out there on the field. I definitely think Khalil Herbert could be another low-owned running back option that could be in the mix this week. $4,600 on DK, really good price tag, and $5,500. And it could be an interesting game stack with the Green Bay Packers. We know what Devontae Adams has been doing this year, but the real question is, are you Allen Robinson or Darnell Mooney this week? Because honestly, if you look at the stats and you put player A and player B comparably next to each other, I would probably pick Mooney by accident. How do you guys feel about the Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers game?
Brady, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, you mentioned what's his fate? Yeah, you mentioned Herbert. He's 4,600, right? I think he's a solid play. You know, they don't have anybody else. So Herbert's fine, 4,600. I can see myself getting to him. Talking about it's crazy seeing Robinson 5,300, right? Like if you said that Robinson was 5,300 earlier in the year, before the year and started or last year, like we'd be
That's serious, man.
We'd be all in on Allen Robinson, but man, he's not done anything like at all, like nothing. Like there's been no signs of getting it together all year. And I'm assuming like one of these weeks he's going to get it together and nobody's going to play him. Like this week, I haven't looked at the ownership, but I'm assuming like nobody's going to play him. So.
I mean, look at Mooney's price tag. Mooney's price tag is way too cheap, dude. He's only $4,300, and their targets have been probably the same.
Yeah, it'd be Mooney for me as well, right? It'd be Mooney for me, 4,000. It's just crazy seeing Robinson at that price tag, but yeah, Mooney for me as well, Billy.
El Hector, you have any sentiments on this Chicago and Green Bay game? Because this could be a weird one. We didn't talk about any Justin Fields, but I guess that's for a reason, huh?
I'm not really interested on anything on the Chicago Bears side. I'm not a big fan of that team. I like them, but I don't like them.
I know what you mean, Hector. It's like a team that you'll root for if you got a ticket on them, but it's not a team you're going out your way to play.
Yeah, man. I really like Justin Fields at Ohio State. He was super fun to watch. You see him come up. Like his debut was horrible against the Browns. Like it was gross to watch. I'm not really interested on anything on the Bears side, but I might go back to Devontae Adams again. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't blame you. Devontae Adams is the GOAT. But I'm gonna go back to Brady. Brady, is there any other stacks that you're looking at for this week before we go into I would say lineup construction? We'll try something new this week.
Yeah, we talked about the Washington game on the other side of the ball. Washington, I like that stack with Heineke. Let's see what else I got here. We talked about Lamar Jackson stacks as well. I think a stack that not a lot of people are talking about, which is weird because it seemed like it was like the most popular stack on the last couple of weeks, but it seems like not a lot of people are talking about this Rams stack against the Giants. So I think it would be interesting. Yeah, Cooper Kupp is 7,900. Robert Woods is 6,100. Matt Stafford 6,700. I wouldn't mind having some stacks with this Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Woods double stack. It seems like not a lot of people are talking about it at all this week, and it's a stack that, especially against the Giants, can absolutely go off at low ownership.
Low key, bro. I thought Cooper Kupp, his price tag is somewhat kind of cheap this week. I thought he would be the second highest priced player on the slate, but the fact that he's not, hey, man, that's actually somewhat of value considering Cooper Kupp's price tag these last couple of weeks on these slates. But one game that I was looking at was the Dallas and New England game. Shouts to El Hector. He put this guy on my radar. Hunter Henry and CeeDee Lamb are two guys I'm looking at in the 4:00 games as like a mini stack of putting those two guys together because CeeDee Lamb was looking pretty good last week. Either him or Cooper, it doesn't really matter. It's like picking between a blonde or a brunette. It doesn't really matter as long as we get the job done at the end of the day, right? But I'm more of a blonde guy, so I'm gonna go with CeeDee Lamb a little bit, But him and Hunter Henry were two guys I was looking at in the 4:00 games. Hector, is there anybody that caught your eye?
So for that game's interesting because you're going up against, on the Cowboys side, you're going up against Bill Belichick, and you got to kind of put yourself in his shoes and see how he is going to attack the Cowboys. He's one of the best, so I need to get in my inner Bill Belichick and see how he's going to attack the Cowboys and go from there. Doing a quick look at some stats, the Pats are pretty good against the deep ball, and I'm pretty sure they're also decent against the run. So, first glance, I'm going to assume the underneath guy is going to eat. That might be CeeDee Lamb, because Amari Cooper, I think he's the more of the deep ball threat.
Yeah, more of the perimeter guy.
And maybe one of the running backs eats from receiving yards. Could it be Pollard? Could it be Zeke? Zeke's been eating on the ground, but if the Pats find some success against him, we might see some Pollard receiving action. And so those are the two guys I'm eyeing up on the Cowboys end. The Patriots shit, like, it's kind of crazy. Like,
Before you go into the Patriots, Travion Diggs might be out for Sunday's game if that changes anything for you.
I'm gonna have to dig into that game. That's definitely a good game to look into. There's gonna be there's opportunities everywhere. So, but first glance, I'm interested in Pollard and CeeDee Lamb.
I don't know, man. With Travion Diggs being out, dude, could Jacoby Myers find the end zone? Because I like Jacoby Myers' price tag this week: $5,500 on DK, $5,800 on FanDuel this week. Right in that mid range also is Michael Pittman Jr., the Indianapolis Colts wide receiver. I thought he had a pretty interesting price tag. And the one last guy that I will name while we're in the cheap wide receiver section, shouts to the main man behind the stages here, Amon-Ra St. Brown, $4,200 and $5,200 with their wide receiver injury situation happening over there on the Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown could be an interesting name. He could be the Kadarius Toney guy that you probably should have played at chalk, but it just didn't get there last week. But before we go into the London game, let's go over here to DraftKings and with these three gentlemen, and we're going to bring in Sharpie as well. Sharpie, not the usual way I introduce you, but we're going to bring you on for this part of the show so you don't fall asleep over there. We're going to start off with Sharpie, you're muted, by the way. We're going to start off with Brady. Brady, who's going to be the quarterback that is going to go in the stack this week?
The quarterback that is going to go in the stack, I got to go with the obvious option, go with Patrick Mahomes. I think there's a ton of value that opened up on the slate. I think it makes it really easy to go up and get Mahomes. So put Mahomes in there, quarterback.
Okay. I like that move, Brady. We're going to go down to El Hector. What are you going to add to this lineup? Any position is available.
If Brady's going Mahomes, I got a backpack with Kelsey. I think this is a Kelsey week.
Okay, and then we're going to go down to El Sharpie. Sharpie, who are you going to put in this lineup?
You guys already wrote it down while listening to you guys. It's Austin Eckler. He's gonna eat. He's gonna eat, especially if Mike Williams is out. He's gonna get 9 catches with those rushing yards. So, Austin, we're going with Eckler.
Well, we're gonna need to go bottom deep diving for some value. So we're gonna go up to me real quick, and I'm gonna pick Mecole Hardman at $4,200 to save some value on this lineup. Back to Brady. What value play are you going to play here?
Yeah, I talked about it earlier, man. I think it's time to bring back the double stack. I'm going with my main man, Ricky Seals-Jones, in the flex position there at 3K.
El Hector. I would say wide receiver would be the one that we're looking for here.
A wide receiver, and we gotta save some money right now.
Yeah, I could save money. If he doesn't want to.
Yeah, Sharpie, go.
You go ahead. Do you guys want to go Bateman or Mooney? Bateman's the cheapest, right?
I would say Mooney. We need a wide receiver here.
They're both wide receivers, aren't they?
Yeah, but I don't know. If I put Bateman in that lineup, I would like Lamar Jackson as my quarterback. So
okay. I just figured out 3,000. The value on that was nuts for what Sammy Watkins seen.
All right.
Back to El Hector.
Can you go on the Arizona Cardinals wide receivers, please?
Yes, sir.
Oh, perfect. Give me Christian Kirk.
I want to see, is this possible, Big Show? Can we get Kareem Hunt in this lineup?
Or not about the defense, goodness.
Yeah, what defense can we get in there?
Broncos,
we have
Packers.
a lot of options.
Oh yeah, we got some options. All right, yeah, that's the lineup that we're gonna build for this video, though. Before we head on out of here, though, quick shout outs to the sponsors that make everything possible. The London game this week, as I pull it up on my book, I didn't even look at the spread on this, but the Dolphins are 3-point favorites. Over under is 47.5. I'm going to kick it down to Sharpie first. I know Sharpie has a conviction play that we're going to end up probably tailing, to be honest with you. I kind of want to hear Sharpie's thoughts on this because I was looking at this guy too. Sharpie, take the floor.
Yeah, let's get into it. First of all, we raked last week on this Sunday game. We were back there cashing by halftime on both of these freaking plays. So let's get to it. I like two people in this game. We like Gaskin over 44.5 rush yards at -114 on FanDuel, and Robinson over 71.5 rush yards at -115 on DK. The reason why I like Gaskin, Jags 20th rush defense, allowing 120 yards a game. Gaskins, he's averaging 5 yards a carry. And the only close game this year that Tua was in, the only game Tua was in, period, Gaskin had 9 for 49, and it was a close game. So the books have this at a close game, and Gaskin, to me, has become the number one running back. They phased out Brown. Brown didn't even see the field last week. So he's hit it only 2 out of 5 times. That's nothing to be proud of. I haven't played him 5 times. I just think this is a Gaskin smash spot to me right here. I think it's a run-heavy game plan with Tua involved, just like last year it was a run-heavy game plan when Tua was involved. So I think it's going back to week 1 game script and feed the running back to help Tua out.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about injury news too much, but Devontae Parker traveled with the team, but he won't be playing in this Sunday morning game, so that kind of opens up the wide receiver position a little bit more. We've been hitting the Waddle and Gesicki, and if it's daily fantasy or prop-wise, I know we've been on that. And Tua Tagovailoa, I can't even say his name, Tagovailoa, will be back this week for Jacoby Brissett. Kind of a little bit sick because if Jacoby Brissett was in there, I kind of like Myles Gaskin's over 21.5 receiving yards. I thought that was a pretty low number for Myles Gaskin's receiving yards. But I'm going to kick it up to Brady. Brady, anything that caught your eye in this Miami-Jacksonville game?
No, not to be boring, but I agree with Sharpie and I agree with you. I'm looking at the Myles Gaskin over in rushing yards and I'll say receptions. Last week they were trailing, so they did pass the ball a lot. And Gaskin, for some reason, got more receptions than Gesicki and Waddle combined. So I think it's sitting at like over 3.5 right now. I don't mind the over, but yeah, I really do like Sharpie's calling the over rushing yards.
I don't know if you ever watched the Joe Exotic Netflix series from last year during COVID, but if you remember, there was a special lady in there. Her name was Carol Baskin. So the Miles Sanders song that we sing when we play Miles Gaskin's props is Miles Gaskin's Ratchet Bougie was happening. Myles Gaskin.
Hey.
So we're gonna go right back to the well with Myles Gaskins this week. El Hector down there in the bottom right. Anything that caught your eye in this Miami-Jacksonville game? Because you are the tight end whisperer, honestly, at this point. So that would be the way to go.
I'm actually looking at the wide receiver position on the Jacksonville side of things. I'm looking at the Dolphins defense, and on average on the deep ball, they're giving up 28.4 yards per reception. And Marvin Jones has the highest A dot out of all the three receivers in the past 3 weeks. So I definitely like Marvin Jones. He started off the season hot. He cooled down when against the Bengals game when everyone slammed his receiving props. But this is a good spot for him if they can attack the deep ball. And surprisingly, Dan Arnold is tied in targets with Laviska Shenault, which is interesting.
Considering he's only been there for a week and a half, 2 weeks.
And he has 4 more receiving yards than Marvin Jones. Laviska is the number one in terms of receiving yards, but I'm definitely interested in Marvin Jones, and I guess I'll give Dan Arnold a look too.
Yeah, no, I definitely will agree with you on that one, El Hector. I think this could be a really good buy low spot with Marvin Jones, considering he's coming off of 2 down weeks. I love me some Laviska Shenault, a.k.a. Visca Honcho, as they used to call him in college, but I think he's going to be a little bit overvalued by the sports books, considering his uptick role usage with DJ Chark, but not a lot of people are talking about the uptick for Marvin Jones with DJ Chark being out, and no Xavier Howard for this game either for Miami. Could definitely bode well, even better for the Jacksonville Jaguar wide receivers. But before we head on out of here, where can they follow you,
Billy,
over on Twitter at Sharpie Bets?
I got a little more to add to this game.
Yeah,
you brought this up in the
baby.
Discord. You brought it up in the Discord. London games under 47 or under, like, it's gone under 46. What was it, 8 now?
That's probably going to be my biggest bet on the game.
8 out of 11 times the under is hit in the London game. So that was the crazy stat from last week Billy pulled out. And Robinson over 71.5, dude. He should easily have 100 on 20 carries, guys. Dolphins are 24th in the league versus the rush. He's averaging 6 yards a carry. And 2 weeks ago, fucking Urban Meyer pulled a stick out of his ass, sent some John Gruden emails to get caught, got him taken out of some hot seat, and decided to run the fucking ball to help his rookie quarterback out. So to help your rookie quarterback out the most, you've got to give him 30 carries realistically, and 20 should hit his number. Way past his number. So, yeah. And you can find me on Sharpie's Bets, or it's Friday night, your local pub, or at SeaWorld tomorrow morning, dropping off the 2 whales I'm going to find tonight.
That's what I love to hear, Sharpie. I love the energy. Top right there next to you. We got a big slate of MMA this weekend, and I think I need a special guy to help me out with this 8-fight card. Brady, where can they find you at?
Big slate, man. I can't believe it. My favorite fight on the card is gone. Marquez.
Dude, I woke up and I thought I woke up out of a fucking nightmare when they said Julia Marquez, Beverly Hills Ninja, was taken off the card. I think that's bad karma for all the times I talk shit on Beverly Hills Ninja. He's an entertaining fighter.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like, half my action gone. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, YouTube DFS, by the numbers, going live in about 20 minutes actually to cover the UFC Vegas 40, which not the best card, but ready to make money on it.
I put a lot of money on Marion for you. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We're just, that was just a side note. He's got to check in with the good sources sometimes. And then the $250,000 fucking man, the myth, the fucking legend, pull up in that brand new whip, got no keys.
Hey.
El Hector, where can they follow you at?
Capo Capping on Twitter, baby. You know where to find me.
I love it. And make sure, if you guys have made it this far into the video, make sure you hit the bell notifications. You get notified for all of our live videos on Pub Sports Radio. And shouts to Jimmy the Bag for his 5th year anniversary. And also make sure you hit the like button for the video for all of our videos. And have a great weekend.